Marc Bergevin, GM of the Montreal Canadiens. First of, congratulations on the winning World Cup of Hockey tournament. Was seeing your number one goalie, Carey Price, healthy and back on top of the hockey world the last piece of the puzzle for you to come back here, have a clear head for the final decisions with the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, obviously, I knew before he started with Team Canada that he was healthy, but just to see him not only healthy but on top of his game, as you saw, even towards the end, Team Canada, I don't think we played well in the final, but Carey made some big save and the team rallied behind that and we're able to win. If Carey's not on top of his game, there's a game 3 on Saturday and who knows how. So it's nice to see him not only healthy but top notch right now.
Homeworks were done before acquiring Shea Weber, but how reassuring was it to see him perform the way he did on Team Canada's top pairing?
Well, just knowing that you got Mike Babcock, Joel Quenneville, Barry Trotz, Claude Julien, those are probably the best coach in the NHL. And they obviously meet before they do their lineups. And knowing that they put Shea top pairing against the Patrick Kane, Ovechkin, Backstrom, you know how much confidence they have in him. And just knowing that now we have that in Montreal, a guy that is a shutdown, physical, a leader, it's great.
Playing on his left side to start the season anyways will be Nathan Beaulieu. Did he deserve that chance because of his performances, potential, or is there an idea of mentoring him into becoming a top-end defenseman in the NHL?
A little bit of all three. Nathan is a young defenseman with potential. He had a great camp, so he earned the right to start next to Shea, but time will tell. It's based on performance. When you play with Shea Weber, you're facing the top appointment, guys like the Ovechkin, the Crosby, all these guys. You have to be on top of your game, and that's going to be up to Nathan, but based on what we saw so far, I think he's able to do that, and I hope he is.
We've just touched on a young defenseman. Let's stay on topic, and I won't ask you the usual questions about Mikhail Sergachev, but I'm taking you back to your own experience. You started in the NHL as a 19-year-old defenseman. Is there anything you can take from that and relate to his specific situation starting in the NHL at 18 years old?
No, based on my experience, I didn't know I was going to make the team I did, and the rule was the same back then, so they kept an eye on me. There's games that I've played, some I didn't play, but at the end they felt that that was the best for my development, my progress to stay in Chicago, and I did. That's going to be the same thing with Mikhail. It's a younger game now, it's a younger player, they're able to play quicker. He earned the right to start the season in Montreal, but his performance, his play is going to dictate where he finished the season, and hopefully it's here in Montreal, but we will watch him closely on and off the ice.
Will his performance alone dictate how long he stays here, or in the salary cap era will game number 10 and number 41 have a big effect or impact on him?
There'll be some impact, but at the end of the day, it's how the player performed. Can he help the Montreal Canadiens? Can he keep getting better? And that's going to overstay the fact that there's a contract at the end, which we all know how it works. So performance is at the end of the day, that's the end. That's the result.
We've talked about a change of scenery or attitude with the Montreal Canadiens. One of the aspects is having another rookie starting, this time on forward. Arturi Lehkonen will start the season as well. How important is it to surround these younger kids with established veterans to start their NHL careers?
It's very important to have a good environment for these kids. Arturi played well. It's nice to have new blood, young blood, not only for us as management, as coaches, but the players in the locker room. They like that. They like the environment of young guys to have around him. And again, having guys like Shea, and Patch, I think is coming into his own now. And we had Shazi and Price are healthy. So all that, I think, is going to help everybody in our dressing room, especially our young guys.
It's tough to go back in the past. Last season wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. But that being said, a few things came out of it. One of the criticism, the harsh criticism, was about communication or the lack thereof regarding injuries, for example. How much of a balancing act is it for you and for your coaching staff to communicate without hiding stuff from the fan base?
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Transparency is very important, and we believe in that, but not at the expense of the player's safety. So you're talking about injuries. The reason why we don't go out and explain exactly is because we're protecting the players and the organization, and that will never change. At the end of the day, I think our fans, they want our players healthy, and I don't think they really care where their injury is. They just want them to be healthy and back. And to put a player in a position where he could get hurt just because we explain exactly what their injury is. And in this game, sometimes guys, they go out of their way, especially on good players, to target them. That's the reason we're protecting them. So I know our fans, at the end of the day, that's all they want. They want our players to be healthy and to protect them.
Your fans have also heard a whole lot about leadership through the offseason. The locker room in Chicago when they won the Cups, and you grew up in that organization before becoming a GM here, they had a very strong dressing room. Team Canada had tons of team captains forming one team. Is this something you're trying to replicate here in this dressing room per se?
Obviously, adding Shea Weber, captain in Nashville, not only with Team Canada, an assistant captain, but just I saw it in my own eyes how the players, the stars gravitate towards Shea Weber. And having him in Montreal now, it's something that we all cherish and we're looking forward to have because he's a true leader around the league, well respected, and now he's a Montreal Canadian.
I was looking through the box score of that last preseason game, and it looked a lot like your offseason checklist. A lot of the new acquisitions and new signings scored the goals. I couldn't help but notice that players that played in the American Hockey League last season weren't part of that competition at the end of training camp. Is that something that makes you proud that these new acquisitions are getting on the scoreboard, or is that something that worries you that, players from the AHL aren't getting there?
It doesn't worry me, but because we got Sergachev, we drafted, never played in St. John. Lekanen, we didn't play in St. John, but we drafted him. But Nathan Beaulieu, Craig Patton, Sven Andrigetto, to name a few, went to the Ice Caps. At the end of the day, not everybody in St. John will play in Montreal. That's a fact. Not everybody in Syracuse will play in, I think it's Tampa. It's just the way it works. So guys the American League is a good league that funnel the players to become an NHL. And some guys, they just don't make it. It's based on their performance. And this year, the guys that perform, earn the right, are here today. And that's the way we're going to move forward.
Before we end this interview, 5-year plan is what a lot of GMs talk about when they get hired. We're coming almost to that plateau there. But from a personal standpoint, through the ups and downs of the first few seasons, have any of these events shaped your philosophy or identity as a GM?
A little bit, but at the end of the day, I thought we had some good stretches. Last year, great start. Obviously, didn't finish nowhere near what we expected. But the 2 years prior to that, we went to a conference final. Year after, we lost to Tampa Bay, which ended up bringing a Stanley Cup final. So I think we compete with the best, and that's all you could ask because there's a lot of factor comes into play about going deep in the playoff. There's a lot of things need to happen. As you all know, there's injuries, there's luck, there's draw. And I think today I feel that after the setback last year, we put the team back on track and we're ready to go and very excited about the upcoming season.
Marc Bergevin, thank you so much for this.
Merci, thank you.